Hi, I'm Tim Coombs, co-pastor of Trinity Presbyterian Church in Scotia, New York, and a member of the network of biblical storytellers. To learn more about its mission, go to nbsint.org. In the beginning, when God created the world was a formless void, and darkness covered the face of the deep. And the Spirit of God hovered over the face of the water. That is the beginning of the creation story of Genesis 1. People say that the creation occurs in 6 days and God rested on the seventh day. But a good Jewish notion is that your work is not complete until you have rested on the Sabbath. So it is fitting to say that creation occurs in 7 days. Now notice in that first line of the story that before God created, everything was chaotic. And in the story of creation, the 7 days of creation, God will bring order to the chaos. And that's partly what it's all about. As you read Genesis 1, you'll notice a rhythm in the creation story. God looks, God sees what needs to be done, and then God says, and the creation for that day begins. And then when it's done, God says, well, in English, it is good. But the Hebrew word is kitove, which is a word that means utter satisfaction. A satisfaction that lingers. It's kind of like after you eat a Thanksgiving dinner and you're full and you have to undo your belt, and that's when you would say, kitove. The memory lingers with you. And so that's what creation is all about. Now, the other thing I will tell you about creation is that the story is somewhat influenced by the Babylonian myth Enuma Elish, because the Jews lived in Babylon in exile, and they set their stories against the Babylonian stories. The Babylonian story begins with creation as struggle, and then it improves based on, Babylonian work. But notice in this story, creation begins good, kitove, good. But as Genesis continues, we'll find that it begins to deteriorate little bit by little bit. So that's the beginning, the story of creation in Genesis 1.